Okay, welcome, Valery, to part 3 of the Basis 56, and we're trying to bring people together for common good because of this asteroid issue. Where do you see this going? How do we communicate this to a wider public effectively? And how do we even convince them that there's a threat in the first place?
First of all, we should publish all materials we have gathered. I'm talking first of all scientific materials, and I'm talking about the ancient texts, because in Russia you can find the texts describing events took place 4,000 years ago in connection with this installation, which is very interesting. And then we have enough video records made by people who watched the development activity of this installation. Also video made by, as I already mentioned, Japanese Academy of Science, video cameras, which is also the best improvement. And then what is important, we should bring this material step by step. I would say openly, normally, so that the audience could have a chance to make decision by themselves. What we should do is just give them information without emotional impact, just to give them a room for their personal understanding, view, and decision, which is actually important.
Yes,
on
very much so.
On the other hand, as the specialists, being involved in investigation of this subject for actually more than 25 years, we should try, or we should make our best to avoid any really weird information, because there is a lot of very strange information about it, done by different reasons. We are not going to discuss the reasons. Most of all, for example, I myself, I like pure information without any, ideas given by people. Just give me the information description of any findings of any artifacts as it was found. Yeah. And then we will see. The more details, the better. But without my opinion or something like this.
You're being quite an optimist, Valery, unfortunately, because unfortunately, as we know, we live in a society where people prefer watching Homer Simpson and X Factor, and they couldn't care less about this kind of information. You said in part 1 that it's important to start educating our children. So let's say that the society that we're living in, that is totally off key as far as I'm concerned. Sometimes I really think that the light end of the tunnel is a very fast train approaching. Okay, we got the internet, we're doing our thing here. Is that one form? What other form?
Well, in any way, we should bring forward all information in an open and interesting way, so that the people could have access to the information, see, watch, and decide. We should. This is our goal. What we actually have to do.
The only way is disclosure. We're getting back to that again now. So I'm very. For me, it's important disclosure of free energy. Again, I didn't want to argue with you in part 2, but I understand Russia is open to ideas, etc. Maybe now, because what happened over Kremlin, which we'll get into, it would have to be through authority releasing the information. Do you think that will happen? It would have to start from the hierarchy.
Well, again and again, I'd like to tell you that those influence, even that one we spoke recently with you about this pyramid-shaped UFO at night, and it was there for a reason. It's understandable. It was not just hovering or recharging or refueling. This is normal. This is normal. And actually, and I'm sure about it, what we have to do, what we should do, is just to leave or to give people their chance to accept or do not accept. If they are laughing, that's okay, that's normal. I remember times when I was also laughing. That was with me the same. But the more information I was reaching, the more data I was investigating, the less smile appeared on my face.
All kind of data.
Yeah, and then I saw that something stands behind it. So we need to create. It's like a book. I wrote the book. I wrote the book for those who is interested, who will find the book, who will read the book, and will ask first of all inner question, and then probably the questions will be turned to me. So leave the chance, give the chance to people to make the choice by themselves. That's normal. First of all, look through the video, because this pyramid is rotating. And when it is rotating, you can clearly see that this is tetrahedral. That's what important. Tetrahedral. It's not 4-shaped pyramid. It's 3-shaped pyramid. 3-sided pyramid. That's important.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
That's it. And then, well, I would like to give you another idea. And this is the key for me and for those I'm working with. When we were investigating, and then when we were giving this material for our audience and for our readers, we did it for the first, not to persuade somebody about a reality of one phenomena or another, about UFO or pyramid-shaped object hovering over Moscow. No, we did it not for this reason. We did it for another one. We understand that this information is stimulating the inner abilities, inner soul, inner being. And this information is just to stimulate it and to then see the reaction. Because I know, and we are sure, that among millions of people, there are at least 3% of humanity who will properly react. It will be like a moment of recognition. It will be the moment of waking up. And we are looking for these people. It's like if you take an account, for example, my book. On the front page, well, it means that those one who will react normally and those one who will take this impulse, and this impulse starts a reaction, psychic, energetical, chemical, whatever reaction, and it's like a moment of opening.
You're not looking for them. You just want to initiate that, and then it will just start happening.
Just in general. And this is the reason why I just told you that on the first page of my book. Wait a second. This is the moment. This is my book. Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
Beautiful book.
Beautiful book.
Is this available through Nexus and Amazon?
No, it's still in Russian language, but
Okay,
it's
fine.
translated into English, but it's still not printed.
Okay.
I think that this year probably we will do that, or maybe we can do it together with you. And then see.
Will you have this available by August?
Oh, we will
Yes.
see. So look very attentively on the book.
Okay.
You see that here there are 4 symbols.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
see?
Yeah, we see that.
Like on one hand, a lot of people may notice it. But the symbols are here. So this is 4 very important symbols.
Right.
So, and from my side, the idea and the reason why I put the symbols was kind of provocation. I'm provocating, especially those who claim themselves, on one hand, being in contactee, in direct contact with the teeth, talking, each minute, exchanging ideas, because any real ET will react on the symbol immediately. Immediately.
That's because they speak ancient Egyptian. There's a link there somewhere.
Because behind it, there is a very interesting story. So, if those one who are real will see these symbols, it will be the moment when the key will be turned and opening. So, this is provocation.
I can't see it clearly. I can't see the first symbol.
We'll get those symbols and put them up on the edit. Can you see them?
Okay.
So, on the other hand, those even kids who has this symbol, this seed inside, I'm sure, for them it will be like a key. Oops, and they start very actively developing, growing mentally, spiritually. So this is, again, this is from my side, it's a provocation.
Right.
Because I clearly understand what I'm doing and what for and why. So, again, we are not going to persuade someone. We are just giving a chance. It's like giving a key, and there is a car. You can keep this key in the hand, saying, "Oh, I'm not. This key is not from the car. It's something else. I don't believe it." Or there are very few people who will take this key, sit in the car, put it, and turn it, and the car will move, or the jet will fly.
Yes.
I'm working for this few, just 3% from whole humanity.
That's that symbolism. What does it mean? Just
No. Here, Sandra, here, my friends, I told you this is a provocation. This is the reason why I'm going to keep silent until the real one will go forth and say, "I know what it is. Thank you. This is this, and this." And then I say, "Welcome. Welcome to the team. Welcome. You are the one." Because I asked many people about these symbols. And that was funny, because there was a case, it was last year, when I met a man, just pretty young man, who was little bit, drunk, just little bit, very, little bit, in a very good mood. And I asked, "Listen, what do you think about it?" He looked at it and translated. I said, "Oh, thank you, congratulations, you was absolutely right." So you are in the team. He did it just freely, and he was right. So I will send the symbols to you, because I will explain that almost more than 20 years ago I had a chance first to see the symbols and encounter. That was a very interesting case, unusual. So, and I was, few years passed after that moment, maybe even 10, something like this. Then during my expedition, one of my expeditions, in the very remote area in Siberia, I had a chance for close encounter. Just, it so happened. I was not looking for it, it just happened. So, and when the man appeared just before me, standing, we were looking on each other, and the first thing which he said to me, he asked, "Where did you get this symbol?" I said, "Which one?" And then he said, "I read in your consciousness a symbol." And I was a little bit, frustrated because I said, which symbol are you talking about? And then he showed, like on the screen, on the mental screen, these symbols. And he said, I'm reading in your brains these symbols. Where did you get them from? And then I explained the whole story, and he gave me the information about the symbols, saying that they are looking for this civilization. They said this civilization was civilizing all universe. That was the highly developed one, which disappeared recently, and we are looking for it. So this is the symbols which immediately reacts, immediately reacts on this symbol. So it means that if anybody are in a real contact, you should know about it. Otherwise, this is just a story.
Is this from the pyramid builders, the people who have now disappeared?
It is connected. It's clearly connected. Actually we have got the whole series of the symbols. But this is the first 4 symbols, which is the key. This is like, these symbols are very closely connected with the, let's say, like Proto-Egyptian language. This is the Proto-Egyptian language, the same principle. And for me, that was so interesting because from that moment, I started to see and understand Egyptian symbols quite from a different point of view, different position.
Is this because they have multiple angles, the way you rotate and look at the 3D and 4D? And
it's much more interesting because each symbol you saw has up to 4 meanings. 4 meanings. And the meaning stands behind, first of all, what you were thinking about at the moment when you saw the symbols. And then, interesting is that the reaction, the information about the symbols goes in 2 floors. First floor in the left hemisphere and the second one in the right. And only stereo effect gives you knowledge what stands behind. Can you imagine? That's the key.
yeah.
That's something very special. That was for me for the first time when I actually physically, I felt and realized what means to get information by left hemisphere or right hemisphere. It's 2 different, dimensions. It's 2 different worlds which are forming your physical, intellectual, spiritual bodies. That's important. On the other hand, this also has a very special projection in the humanity when, for example, men and women, like you are sitting, like right here, on one hand you are representing left and right hemispheres, so the information interaction between should have a very special impact, developing, creating between male and female, a special relationships. This is the moment of a real, growth, real coming into the world. This is the moment when you first time starts to understand who you really are. And that is amazing, actually. Really amazing. That's why we are not interested to persuade anybody by our books, information, or texts. We are waiting for this particular reaction. Because when it will happen, I'm talking about this reaction, then it means the group of people starts to get together.
You're waiting, obviously, for the first time.
Do you remember what we were starting from? Our meeting number 1. That was a very short, just few sentences, short sentences when I spoke that in our life, in our present life, between countries, there is a political way of relationship. Political. Something is going on between us, but we do not see, we do not realize that there is the same type of relationship between extraterrestrial, politicians and terrestrial politicians. I am just not talking about our politicians. I am just talking about, like flat, horizontal way of interaction. This is the politics on the Earth, and this is cosmopolitics between, space and the Earth. And they are watching, okay? So, I'm talking about this. So, this is the key moment, because in the groups, in this humanity, there are very few people who belonging to this community, which is interacting between or on the cosmopolitical level. This is the members of cosmic community. Very few people, they are members of cosmic community. Among the people, there is a group of people who still do not know and do not realize that they are like this. For them, a special impulse is very necessary, is important. When they immediately, like after, oh my gosh. And everything is changed pretty fast. And then this communication starts, on a it's like after very deep, very effective meditation. Because you need to listen just once, really once, this voice, this energetic vortex, which is coming into you, which is feeling, your body. And then the next moment of transformation, it's kind of an energetical mutation takes place inside of you, and the next minute you are quite different person. The same body, but quite different. Was the man? He was outer space guest.
What did he look like?
Like we are. No, he was on a physical level, but many people would even, I think they would not even recognize that he is quite different. No, he was looking like we are, no difference. One thing is very special. And mostly it can be clear for women. For example, for you, not for men, for women. You would immediately feel different type of energy, different radiation. Energetically, he's different. Physically, the same. Talking mentally, but energy, different.
What kind, like sexual energy or what?
Well, sexual energy, it's just a secondary reaction. For sure, it's pretty strong, No, tell me that, I will tell you, don't be hurried. And at the same time, be very careful, because this is the first step into quite a different world of feeling, understanding, relationships, whatever, and you should be very, very specially prepared. Here, I would recommend not to orient just on your feelings. No. Feelings, it's important, but this is the beginning. What I would like to I'd like to tell you, sorry. It's like, I'm thinking what kind of examples to give you to let you understand the difference and what I'm talking about. It's like, tell me, Sandra, which film is your favorite one? Films about love.
Films about love?
Yeah. Which one is favorite?
You mean like romance love?
No, just love. Do you remember this film Dracula?
Yeah, I understand the concept. I remember seeing it a long time ago.
So, because I know a lot of ladies who likes this film because of this very strong love between two men and women in this film, Dracula. But the Dracula was the devil. And love was so strong. This absolutely amazing mixture give you understanding that the strong feeling sometimes can come to you from the darkness. And for many, many women, it is almost impossible to make a right choice. You see? Yeah, so that's why I say you should be very careful about it. And
is that a
I
warning?
Think, I think
I've already passed the critical
I think
moment.
you have
I've
to
survived already Dracula.
Yeah, you have to
I'm
visit
in a very different
one of my
place now.
presentation because I think one seminar about this subject from ancient Egyptian knowledge would be very, very useful for you.
Sorry, repeat that.
It's like a seminar. Sometimes I'm giving seminars about very special, very important subjects and knowledge which have been spread among priests in ancient Egypt. And actually, if you know that they were learning during 22 years to become a priest. So that was the period of 24-year steps of ascension to a certain understanding and spiritual level. And this way has some very special and very important knowledges which which you must know, otherwise you can make mistakes. In any way.
No, please finish that thought, because
Let's go back. Okay? So you asked me, so this is just a normal human being with very special energy. Mm-hmm. That's it. And important is that when they meet human beings, earthly human beings, the first thing which they do, they are reading consciousness and subconsciousness. And they need just few seconds to know anything about you, anything they need. Anything.
Yeah.
It's that first energetic energy wave you get before you hear or see anything. It's energy.
Yeah. When you start to feel inner vibration, very strong one, it means they are scanning you. They are reading you. Mm-hmm. They know about you. And at this particular moment, when they are reading you, they are in a very special state, energetical and emotional state. It means they switch off all their emotions. They are reading you by cold brain. That's why sometimes witnessers, they report that it is emotionless. They are like dead, They are not human. No, they are human, and they have a very nice sense of humor.
Good to know.
But they are just reading you, and at this particular moment, they keep down all their emotions with one reason: to avoid any mistakes reading your very complicated, energetic database.
Yeah.
Because you are the part of creation.
Right.
One thing is important. People should understand. Well, that man was just reading, okay?
And he was a human-like person, so.
But symbolism, that symbols have been received during a practice. That was a moment of a very special practice. Mm-hmm. We can simply call it special meditation practice. Mm-hmm. In the pyramids, and during this meditation, suddenly like a flow of information and symbols came into the brain, into the head, with the visions of a certain planet, certain, like landschaft, trees, bushes, something very special. So, and it was registered and remembered. I mean, this is the reason why when he just saw it, he said, where did I get it from? Because there is an information without details. So I had to start to talk about. It means when any human being start to remember, start to talk about anything that happened few years ago, mentally you are getting into contact with that moment, with that time. So what they need is just reading your brains to connect to that moment, and then they know anything about surroundings and all details. But first thing is important. You need to imagine and start to talk. And only then they start very detailed reading.
Right, okay, so you saw the symbolism and that triggered, and then you took a quantum leap in your sort of self-development, and then later on you got back to it, and then it sort of made sense.
There are many interesting details, and this is the reason why I'm still gathering information, and I'm getting ready to write the big, maybe couple of big books under the name Hierophants, where I'm going to bring forth a lot of interesting details from that heretic schools, from that outer space technologies, which actually, I'm talking first of all about psychic technologies, which have been used by ancient Sumerians, Egyptians, Mayans, which have been used by Druids, because Druids, they still are keeping a very special, wonderful, amazing piece of knowledge about trees, about the energy of the trees, because tree is a very special source of energy and source of very special energy. Energy which you will never ever can find anywhere.
Any specific
Only
tree?
inside this tree. This is the reason trees are very, very important, especially when you, for example, when you get a chance and you make a decision to build a complex of the pyramids, energetical systems. Important aspect is the system of trees.
Because some trees will push energy up into the higher energetics, and others will pull down. So there's a cycle.
Because, pyramid, you should understand that the pyramid is accumulator.
Yes.
But what you will accumulate is important. And the tree is the source of energy to get accumulated. And this is important. Otherwise, pyramid is just accumulator. And you can put it in any device, and it will not work until it's not recharged. But when you recharge it, it starts working. The same with the pyramid. Because it's important knowledge that it's not the question of just energy. Because you can get a lot of different types of energy into the pyramid, and then what? And then nothing. Nothing. You get inside of the pyramid and you feel like vibrations, strong ones, and say, oh, strong pyramid. You can sit there, spend there 1 year for nothing. No reaction. Why? Because this is the question of a very special, tiny, subtle energy, a very special one. You need to bring inside special energy, and only then your system, your consciousness, subconscious consciousness is connected, switched on. And it's like a quite unusual way of realization. And then you learn about yourself much more than you knew before. This is the
But
moment.
the trees will communicate this with you as well.
Yes,
Well, it's a symbiotic relationship.
but first of all, this is the source of energy.
Are you speaking of the famous Russian series of books, Anastasia, the ringing
No,
cedars?
no, Anastasia, Anastasia, it's it's a pure mental construction. The first book, I'm talking about the article, let's say, like a part of the book, where you can find concentrated, filtered information about the trees and the energy of the trees, about period of high intensivity and low intensivity, about rhythms of the trees. This is the Wands of Horus book, which I published on 2004. There you can find it, because this information otherwise is, in many, many other sources, and it's ripped into pieces. You need to spend a lot of time to find, to filter out, to put together, analyze, and bring forth. So it's already done by me. So
Excellent.
read it, you will find.
Yeah, but I mentioned that because the ringing cedars is a lot of it is available now in English, and
this type of books. This is my personal point of view. That's why if you ask me, I tell you that this Anastasia book, it's books of spiritual chat, which gives you nothing.
bubblegum.
Yeah, just spiritual, blah 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 blah. You can spend years for nothing, for zero.
Attracts people who are ascending and have a higher consciousness and brings them nowhere.
It means, you see, we are sitting together with you now already, the third film, right? Third series. And we are talking about technologies. We are not talking about the fact that you, Sandra, must be good. And you, Miles, you also must be a very good boy. You must do anything for good, you must love kids. That's okay, that's all right. But what else? If you think that it will develop your spiritual or energetical capacities, no, it won't. Then you have to make another step.
Yeah.
Next one. But next one is technology. Based on spiritual aspects, for sure.
The new or the so-called 0 point technology is a resonant system. It needs the participant of the user to make it work better.
Can I ask
You are
something?
talking, you are talking like mathematician now, because you're talking, yes, we need to use the science like a lot of digits, system of digits. No, I'm talking about feeling. You will understand me, Sandra, better in this particular case, because it's like with the music, for example. I can show you the paper covered with notes. Okay? And according to your understanding, when I show this piece of notes to you, you should experience almost, nice feeling, orgasmus, just because this affects you as if it is huge orchestra, real one, making music. You understand? It's quite different thing. And if this musician, all those musicians, if they are playing music without feeling, without this emotional impact, this is the bad music.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
So we are talking about that essence. We are talking about this spiritual impact, which is, recorded into the sound, invested into the sound. But you are talking about 0 point. It's like, yes, we need some symbols to write this, music down on paper. Yes, that's right. But at the same time, it means nothing.
Yeah, that was my point. That was exactly the point I was trying to get. You've got to have feeling with the technology. You've got to be part of it.
Yeah.
You've got to resonate.
That's all right. You should understand that I'm absolutely agree with you, and I'm standing on the same position. But I say we badly need like a women way of thinking close to us.
Yeah,
We badly need it. Otherwise, we just will stay on papers, just making,
even if you look at all the scientists, I heard that even Einstein, when he was a little boy, he had to learn the piano. So whatever idea and concept he came up with later on, the geniusness, it was from the creative side of things, how he looked at and perceived things, and his essentially theories, technology came from the creative, and then combination of both, because he had developed a special part of the brain that not everyone can have. Unless you know how to do. Yeah, because that develops during the critical moment up till age 8 when you've learned to play the piano. Then you go into engineering. When you're an engineer and you have the piano skills, how to do music, then some next level stuff starts to happen.
That's the question. And you see, one way or another, we have to come closer to understanding what we are talking about. Sure, this feeling, this is the key moment. Again and again, sometimes I'm giving maybe understanding that there is a huge difference between, this, for example, let's say between us, it's not for the audience, when you have a sex with a man whom you like and whom you don't like.
Yeah.
The same process, but result and effect is different. The same here.
Yeah.
Because inside of you, this hemisphere of the brain, this is the way, this is the door into your inner space being, real one. This is the source of knowledge and source of energy. So if you get there and you will open this hole, you will open the heart, as we say, you will experience absolutely wonderful, amazing feeling and state. And then, at that moment, it will become very clear for you that now you can mentally create anything, you can heal anybody, you can do anything. And at the same time you understand that before, when you didn't experience this state, anything you did was just like nothing. It was just lessons. It was the small steps to come to this particular moment.
Yeah.
That's the symbionce of art, creativity, and logic.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Absolutely balanced. Should be balanced.
So what do you think, using technology, what is most effective? Is it the sound that you work with? It depends on your actual state. Yeah.
Because before, for example, when sometimes people come to me asking, listen, Valery, can you help us in healing or to make diagnosis? So I ask, on which level? If you want full and very deep, then we need to spend few hours when I'm just analyzing anything, all your channels and potentials and the other things. So a lot of things. Then,
question.
For example, I'm giving you wands, okay? Yeah. Then when you take wands and spend with them 30 minutes, you will experience a reaction from your organism. Then only after this reaction, I can explain to you what is going on to happen with you. Only then. So I'm just trying to give you idea about complexity of a human construction.
Absolutely.
So complex. But it means that this is why this is technology. And when I'm talking about technology, I mean, and I'm trying to bring forward first main idea. Technology is the way to avoid mistakes. This is the key moment. This is the way to avoid mistakes.
Absolutely, yeah. I understand crystals. People who work with crystals. They need it. Are they immediately active, or you can activate them with your own?
The problem is, Sandra, dear. The problem is that when people are when people are working with crystals, all of them, they make one and the same mistake. When you have a crystal laying on the table, it is silent. It does nothing. Nothing. It's like a pyramid. It contains a lot of quartz, and it doesn't work. What we should do, if you ask me, what should we do to let pyramid start working? And then on the physical level, I will answer, you should, how to say, you should, well, simply turn on the pyramid. It's like you should create a difference of potential, like plus and minus. And then crystal lattice of, for example, quartz starts to vibrate. And only then crystal starts to emit energy. In case of pyramid, to make this, we need to start singing in the pyramid, or to bring a certain equipment into the pyramid and make sounds so that the pyramid starts to vibrate, and then this vibration creates this piezoelectric effect. And
it's like an acoustic resonance at certain
the
parts
same
of
with
it,
the
at certain
crystal.
frequencies.
The same with the crystal. When you have it on table, you should make the crystal lattice of the crystal starts to vibrate, because if it's just sitting on the table, it doesn't vibrate.
Is this by holding it, or by compression in some way, or by thinking, or how?
No, thinking. And when you take it in the hands, it's better. But it would be better to take in two hands, like this one, because at least your right and left hands are charged opposite, plus and minus. At least it's already better. It's better than nothing. But
So
in
if you have a crystal around your neck, or how does that, is it going to help or not, or what?
Well, there are very, yeah, I don't know where I get
in any way, you are asking the question which needs approximately 1 hour of preliminary conversation to give you knowledge about crystals and how they are working, what should be done to make the crystal lattice
Pyramid is good.
Energy. So this is technology.
Pyramid is good, and that's how you activate the wands, right? Because the crystal-based wands are activated in the pyramid.
Unfortunately, my English is not so good. That's why I'm just trying to remember the words. But in Russian language, I would explain immediately what I'm talking about.
But it's also different crystals work for different people.
I think
it doesn't have a one-size-fits-all.
No.
I think the pyramids that you deal with is a very effective form to activate, and obviously you're injecting your own soul and whatever sort of heart space there. And sound is very, very, if you include that, then wow. I don't want your recipe. I don't want the recipe how you do it. I'm trying to imagine it. I have a feeling that I kind of understand.
I'm just thinking of all the people who have crystals, and they're now going to think, well, how do they get them to work properly or clean them?
He uses pyramids, self-built pyramids. These are very heavy, hundreds of or tens of kilos, but they're, I don't know how many diameters, and 2 or 1.5 meters, square meter diameter, or whatever, and then you even activate your food and water in there, I understand. So This is definitely, you know, it's very effective.
So how would people who are watching approach this? Or would they go somewhere? Would they try to get together to do something, or contact you in some way? Or
you
how?
can activate yourself even sitting inside the pyramid.
Yeah, I mean,
I would sit in there.
There's a guy who turns up at a lot of the festivals, and he builds this pyramid, and people sit in the middle. We're in the last few minutes of this part, so if there's any way we could round this up on this particular subject.
Yeah. We're gonna do definitely one more part, Valery. We have to do.
Yeah.
Final.
I think it's enough for today, because I see energetically that your systems starts to make steps in transformation of information energy which you have received. Your organism needs time for that. So this is the reason why I say I spent nice hours together with you today.
Thank you very much.
Great, thanks.
I had to ask. You can't blame me.
Miles, I'm giving you a very big hug.
Big hug.
Sandra,
Man hug.
big hug to you. So, and we are in contact.
Amazing. Thank you.
Just give time to your subconsciousness to, you know, digest this information.
Of course.
And then a bit later, you get a lot of answers, questions, and you get an answers from me. Okay, if you
of course. There's amazing info. I need to listen to this at least a few times.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, my friends. And please remember me to people in Great Britain.
I will.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, the first book which I read was The Oliver Twist in English.
Ah, my God.
Yeah, it was Dickens. Very special language, and I don't know why, but I like English language, you know, spiritually. Spiritually, it's something very special for me. That's why I like Beatles.
Well, you speak it very well, sir.
Yeah.
And
I know.
thank you.
Well, in any way, I'm trying to do my best. Thanks to the guy.
You're doing
And,
just before we go, that beautiful painting behind you, it's a very like the Glastonbury tour. It reminds me of the Glastonbury tour. Can you say something about that painting?
Next time.
Next time.
Next time.
Exciting episode.
Next time, I think I'll give you a lot of interesting information about Glastonbury. It's a very special place, by the way.
It feels like somewhere in Transylvania, Romania.
Oh, you see, Dracula.
I'm resonating with that.
She's a real woman. Real. Take care, Miles. Take care.
Just check.
She's real explosive, you know.
Well, thank you for that. And,
God.
Spaces 56. And thank you, Will.
Sandra. Okay.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Bye-bye, my
you.
friend. See you
care.
next time. We are in touch.
Absolutely.